Baby, baby, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Guitar Angle. We're about to begin. Baby. Buckle up. Get ready. Let's go. Baby, baby, baby. Let me love. That's right. Again. Woo! Let's go! Woo! What's happening? Baby! Woo! How we doing? How you doing? Woo! Oh, my goodness. I gotta tell you guys something. I'm in a good mood, baby. I'm in the mood today. I am caffeinated. I am hibernated. I am just ready to go. And this stream today is going to be athletic. Oh, I hope you're in the mood. Because we're ready to go! Playing with the monsters. Right. That's right. Unbelievable. Unbelievable! Let's go! My goodness, guys, I gotta tell you something. On this Saturday evening, Sunday morning. I don't know where you are. I gotta tell you something. I've got you guys this crazy docket on the stream today. Boy, oh boy, wasn't it a spicy news week for electric guitars. Acoustics we don't even talk about here, okay? Don't even talk to me. They come and say, oh, Mr. Sorenzo, let's talk about acoustic guitars. I want acoustic guitars. No, we don't do that here. You know why? Because this stream is athletic. That's right. But boy, oh boy, wasn't that a spicy news week this week. I gotta tell you guys. So, today, where's my camera? Okay, on this stream, we're gonna talk about, first, we're gonna give a tribute to Ken Parker. Ken Parker, a legendary guitar luthier, passed away. We're gonna have a bit of a chat about him, and talk about a couple of his crazy electric guitar, a bit acoustic-ish as an exception. His innovations in those guitars. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a few bands. A whole lot of crazy stuff happens with famous bands last week. We're going to talk about those. Trivium, My Dying Bride, As I Lay Dying. If you're a fan of those bands, you're going to like it. Or not. Then, PRS SE lines just blew out the market for some reason, and they just went with every possible controversy they could go, like this week. We're going to talk about those guitars. There's 4 new ones out there. We're going to talk about 2. And then, lastly, Joe Bonamassa. I call him Joe Bassanova, but Joe Bonamassa has a new Epiphone out. And we're going to talk about those. How good is that? How good is that, ladies and gents? Okay, and without further ado, let me change the song, okay? Change the song. I fired my assistant last week. Antoinette was fired, so I'll have to do everything today myself, okay? All right. We are ready to go. Are we? If you're on Twitch or YouTube, give me some feedback on how the sound quality is, if the background music is good, okay? Zuhair, what's happening? Zuhair says, hey. I don't think I can stay all the live today. But I hope you're well. I hope you're well. Happy Saturday. Video looks too sharp. I guess I can get used to it, not sure. Sound is amazing. Oh, thank you. The video is too sharp? You know why? Hold on. I'll tell you why the video is too sharp. It's because I'm a sharp guy. I've always been. And ever since I was a kid. True story. Everyone was telling me, oh my God, Mr. Sorenzo, you're so sharp. Like, amazing. You know the Lil Wayne line, mind so sharp, I turn around, I cut my head off. It's that. Just so you know. Unbelievable, this guy. Don't worry, it's not too bad. I just got to take some time to get used to it. But it's not, it's okay. It's nice. It's high quality. It's high octane, okay? I hope you're well, dude. Happy Saturday. I know you work hard with 2 jobs. And, no, I get it. I get it, man. So, let us get started on the first item on the docket. And I wanted to do a bit of a sort of a shout out, a bit of a tribute to Ken Parker. So for those who don't know, Ken Parker, the late great Ken Parker, was a legendary luthier. You guys heard of Parker guitars? Y'all heard of Parker guitars? He invented those. He sort of created those guitars. He came up with those designs in his workshop. those guitars blew out the market. They became really famous. Very controversial design at the time, especially with the bottom horn and top horn really taking the spotlight in there. But Ken Parker was a luthier. He worked all the way until 2023, where when he no longer could work and build guitars because of his battles with cancer. And then he passed away because of cancer in his home in Massachusetts last week, unfortunately. And he, funny enough, 2 days before his passing, there was a social media post made on his behalf for GoFundMe, like a crowdfunding for his cost of cancer treatment, which was sad to me. So I just wanted to give a bit of a tribute to Ken. What a legendary luthier he was. And usually when it comes to Parker guitars, especially this famous model, the Fly, people usually just look at the shape and sort of like the aesthetics of the guitar. But not everybody knows actually more like technical details of the guitar build. So I thought it would be interesting to sort of talk about those, because we never talked about the Fly on stream. But so this is the Parker Fly, for those who don't know. This is the Fly Deluxe. So they were coming in different mods and different configs. Priced at about like 2,000 euros. And the thing that really stood out with Fly was how light it was. This was actually one of the main innovations that Ken Parker did for Parker Fly. So this particular guitar, for example, was 4 pounds. 4 pounds and a quarter, right? And you guys have to understand, the Fly came out, if I'm not mistaken, between 1993, the first prototype of it was made, and it was in market, I think, in 1997, right? At the time, guitars were like averaging 7-8 pounds in weight at least. Like solid body electric guitars, right? It was in that environment where Ken Parker came out with a guitar that was weighing like 5 pounds, 4 pounds. And that was like a huge step. It was crazy. That was one of the, main innovations that Ken Parker did on his guitars. Now, the thing that actually allowed this to happen, one of the things that Ken Parker actually did for his guitars was that he thought, okay, if we cut too much wood out of the electric guitar, right, to make it light, to make it more ergonomic and easier played, and less, less intense on the body if you play for longer hours, what happens is that guitar becomes structurally weakened because you're shaving a lot of wood away in the body and the neck especially, right? And then he thought, okay, well, what if we reinforce the body and the neck, but not with like things inside the wood? Like, for example, you guys know it's like 7-piece or 5-piece necks. Guitar Necks, Ibanez does them. A lot of other brands do them. 5-piece necks with like carbon rod reinforcements in there to strengthen the neck, for example. He thought, all right, well, instead of adding to the guitar, what if we have an exoskeleton? Like as a skin, as an overlay to the guitar. Like an exoskeleton, literally think of like an insect's exoskeleton. What if we have an exoskeleton in the more vulnerable parts of the guitar to make it stronger? And then that was the birthplace for, him using fiberglass, using carbon and epoxy mixture, and put a thin layer of that outside the guitar. And you guys have to understand, like, when it comes to carbon fiber, the way it's made is like you got your carbon fibers literally, and you fill the gaps between those fibers with epoxy. That material all the carbon guitars, like guitars that their body and neck made out of carbon, they all made with pretty much the same way with this material that I just mentioned. That carbon fiber material has a very, very high strength to weight ratio, right? It meant that the exoskeleton of the neck, when he applied it on the guitar, was strong enough to handle the string tension on its own. You know, even in the absence of the wood of the neck, if you guys know what I mean. Like, the exoskeleton was supreme, like strong, right? And that's what he did. He literally covered the vulnerable parts of the guitar with those material. And that helped with the structural integrity and the stability of the guitar, which then allowed him to shave more wood from the guitar and make sure that the guitar is stable. And that was genius. You know, doing an exoskeleton on a guitar was just genius. And that was one of Ken Parker's innovations, right? Now, with that, you know, covering the guitar with fiberglass or carbon epoxy mixture, came some downsides. Some people argued. Not everybody agreed, but some people argued. For example, if you cover the whole neck with that material, would that dampen the sound of the guitar? Right? Would that take the brightness away? Because this is what happens, right? So for example, when you apply a color on the guitar, because stain is just like you staining the wood. But when you apply a finish, or when you apply color on the guitar, if you do it too thickly, like if what you applied is too thick, it is going to take the brightness of the guitar sound away, right? And that's why applying a finish to the guitar or applying color to the guitar is a very delicate task. People underestimate how delicate it is. If you do it too thick, it is going to dampen the sound of your guitar. Your guitar is going to sound different. So you don't want the guitar to be maybe covered so much with stuff. You know what I mean? That'd be finish, you know, color or whatever else. And so Ken Parker's answer for that was a couple of things. Number one, he argued that no, this actually improves the sustain and it doesn't dampen the sound significantly or if at all. And then the second thing that he did was that said, all right, well, how about we use this material selectively in areas of the guitar body and neck and the wood, basically, right? Put it selectively on those areas that help us reinforce, you know, the stability of the guitar to make the guitar more structurally strong. But also, if there's parts of wood that is inconsistent, right, in how the wood grains, how dense they are, and how they're oriented, and they're part of those vibrations that we don't want, let's apply the same material also there. And that allows us to sort of get a bit of a control on how that part of the wood reacts. Which is insane. This is like, now, this is a personal comment of mine. It's insane because not every piece of wood is the same. So this was like, I thought it was a genius idea. I don't think this last bit is applicable so much. And the reason for that is because every piece of wood, every chop of wood is different. So yes, there are woods like mahogany, maple, maybe even basswood, for example, that are more, more consistent, right? So different blocks of wood that you get are more consistent. And again, granted, for example, when we say mahogany, there's like 30 different types of trees that they all labeled as mahogany, and none of them are actually the Cuban mahogany, right? We talked about this in one of the older streams. But at least it's more consistent. But if you get a body like, for example, ash, right? Ash wood is actually really inconsistent when you want to work with it in terms of the wood density, for example. Very, very inconsistent, right? That's one of the reasons why early Telecasters, for example, were weight relieved, and even when they were weight relieved, their weight sometimes like was different from a guitar to the other significantly. So you would get like a 60s, 70s Telecaster, Fender Telecaster, that was supposedly weight relieved, but it was still 8 pounds. Like, it was heavy, right? Because ash is very, very inconsistent, like depending on which part of the tree you chop and how much moisture is in there, bottom or top of the tree, right? So for the more inconsistent piece of wood, it's almost impossible to do what Ken Parker wanted to do with selectively applying that material on that part of the wood to sort of like change how the wood vibrates and resonates. So I thought this was just like a fun fact. I was always fascinated with this. And I thought I just wanted to share this with you guys because it's insane. The depth of the man's understanding of the guitar was just insane. And you can see that, right? Like, when you look at this neck, because you look at more modern guitars now and you think this is a new design, but no, man, this design been around since the 90s, right? The thing that allows you to have something like this without you losing your headstock faster than a Gibson, faster than a Gibson headstock, is those reinforcements that I just talked to you guys about. Yeah. So, looking at the specs of this guitar, neck wood, bass wood. Neck design, solid one piece with carbon glass epoxy reinforcement. Didn't I just tell you? Neck body joint, reinforced carved, multiple finger joint. 25.5-inch scale, 24 frets, hardened stainless steel fret material. Carbon glass epoxy on the fretboard. Fretboard shape is 10 to 13 inches. That is similar to, like, for example, Jackson having 12 to 16 inches in the radius, so 12 inches at the top, 16 at the bottom. This one is 10 at the top, 13 at the bottom. Neck shape is wide, regular thickness. Finish is polyurethane, Graphtec nut. 1.6 inch is the nut width. And it has a truss rod and locking tuners, basically. So yeah. And I thought it would be really interesting to talk about this. The next thing, by the way, and the genius of Ken Parker wasn't just limited to electric guitar, right? He also designed a very insane acoustic guitar later in his life. I mean, you could argue that every electric guitar is essentially an acoustic guitar. But if you guys haven't seen Ken Parker's Archtop, this is that guitar, if you guys haven't heard of it. So it's an acoustic / acoustic electric guitar, and it's insane in terms of like how this guitar is made. So what do you have here? Obviously, you have the carbon fiber reinforced neck. You have a carbon fiber neck reinforcement between the neck and the body. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, have a look at this. This is how this carbon block here is how the neck is connected to the guitar body. Have you guys seen anything like this before? Isn't this insane? Right. Isn't that just insane? Look at this. Right. What else does it have? Bronzeville pickups inside the guitar. Sort of as like a noise-free high-definition magnetic transmission. Something he calls the magic knob. Makes amplified volume adjustment natural and easy. So that's like the volume knob there. Adjustable tailpiece. Tips side to side to act as fine-tuned tone control. And a fixed hollow bridge to allow a solid transmission of sound to the body of the guitar. Right. And then obviously you have the famous Paker neck, right? Now check this out. The sound hole of this guitar, there's two, and is at the top of that guitar. See this? This is the other view. It's here and right at the top. Which, if you guys don't find this insane, I don't know what you find insane. Right? There we go. That's another view. This is the neck with the, you know, carbon reinforcement that we just talked about. This is the neck body joint. Not really. It's there, but it's the back of your guitar. This is the neck body joint, rather. Like, this guitar looks like expensive, like, decor. You know, like those expensive decors that it looks like zero gravity on things stacked on top of each other? It looks like that. And the man built this in his workshop. Yeah. So, yeah, the guy's genius wasn't just restricted to electric guitars. He was a great guitar builder. And that's your output jack for the acoustic electric. So, yeah, man, I thought, what a loss. What a loss to the guitar community. Ken Parker's passing. And, you know, he sold his company to an investor group or something, if I'm not mistaken, in 2003. I could be wrong. But boy, oh boy, wasn't this guy a genius. Those guitars are insane. I wonder whether there's like secondhand of them available right now. Like, how much are they selling secondhand right now? I wonder. Guitars. There we go. For $2,200. For someone's selling it for half price right now. These are the Acoustics. Mojo Fly in the US. 8 grand. Look at that. Southern Nightfly for 10 grand. Yeah, pretty expensive. Pretty expensive guitars. Seymour Duncan. So what do we have here? Nightfly Mojo, natural mahogany finish, 2 minor dents, tarnish on the bridge. 3rd and 5th fret market side dots are worn. And comes with part. Okay. I wonder what Seymour Duncans these are. Doesn't say. They're active. Okay, so they're active Seymour Duncans. So much for information. Social, what's happening? What's going on? How you doing? How often do you stream? Weekly. On Saturday nights. I mean, depends on where you are in the world, but usually Saturday nights. So yeah, man, that was the discussion that I just really wanted to have and tell you guys about some of the like insane innovations that Ken Parker did on the fly and on the Archtop. Like just the incorporation of carbon epoxy, the neck shape, the body shape, how the exoskeleton came in to sort of like make the whole thing a little bit more stable. Not a little bit more, a lot more stable. and how he wanted to choose that epoxy carbon composite to change how the wood resonates on individual guitars. It's just mind-blowing. And I thought, given his passing, Ken Parker's passing, would be an interesting point of discussion for us to have a chat about. So yeah, man, it's insane. It's an insane piece of guitar. If you guys could get your hands on any of those, let me know. Does anybody here have any Parker guitars on Twitch or YouTube? Anyone has played with them before? Anyone got any? I'd be keen to hear from you. Social says, by the way, I see are not affiliated. No, I'm not. Like a Twitch affiliation, you mean? No, I'm not affiliated with Twitch. Another way to say it, Twitch is really not affiliated with me. I think that's a better way to put it. So yeah. All right. Shall we jump to the next item on the docket? Shall we? Let us jump to the next item on the docket. And it was insane, by the way. Before we get to that, Social says, actually I do you promote channels? Are you here to sell me viewers? Is that what you're doing right now? Social? Is that the thing that you're doing right now to me? Don't do that. We don't buy viewers, okay? Because we want the real, authentic thing here. I want to be able to talk to y'all. Like, the whole point of me doing this is to talk to people. So, I'll tell you guys why we do these streams. The purpose of these streams. Because it'll be easy for me to put an ad behind whatever. Or buy some viewers, okay? The reason I don't do it is because the purpose of the stream is for us to do a few things. Number one, do guitar reviews, band news, things of that nature. So anything about guitar luthier thing, right? Anything about guitar lessons, all that stuff. That's what we talk about, right? Secondly, we have a free beginners course on our YouTube channel. It's a playlist that's completely free, and there are like full lessons where we talk about, how to get a complete beginner who doesn't even have a guitar and turn them into a decent intermediate player. The next purpose of the stream is to sort of answer questions that those guys might have. So we talk about guitar specs, guitar reviews, but also guitar lessons. And then band news and gossip, a little bit of gossip. Okay? That's the purpose of the stream. And nothing more. So I'm not into buying viewers or anything of that nature. Yeah. So don't do that. Also, can I say something? Like, this stream is not monetized or anything. I'll have a problem somebody coming here and trying to sell people stuff all the time. So don't do it too. Right? It's supposed to be a safe space for people to come in and have a chat and let loose. Okay? Appreciate that. Keep that in mind. Alrighty. Let's talk about the next item on our docket, shall we? Let's talk about the next item on the docket. Y'all know Trivium? How many of you guys know Trivium? So, for those who don't know Trivium, there's this thing called internet. The internet is a good thing. And if you use it once in a while, like, I'll be surprised if somebody doesn't know Trivium. Trivium is a metalcore band. I grew up with them. The V electric guitar that I have, by the way, check this out. This one. That one is Corey Bailou's signature model, and Corey Bailou is the lead guitarist for the band Trivium. Okay. Anyways, Trivium parted ways with their drummer Alex Bent, which was like insane. And the reason it's insane is because Trivium, I think now they just changed like 4 drummers now, for 5 drummers. Like they are going through drummers faster than a touring musician going through Gibson necks because they keep breaking. But after a decade, almost a decade together, well, 9 years to be completely accurate, Trivium and their drummer Alex Bent have parted ways. They both issued a nice fluffy statement about thank you very much, goodbye. Alex said, I'm so proud of every record and tour we created together, and I know Trivium will continue to dominate the world. They'll always have my support. While this chapter has come to a close, this by no means is the end of my path as a musician. Excited for a new chapter. Look forward to continuing to create, perform, and share music. And Matt Heafy said, wishing you and your family nothing but the best on the same day, and pleasantries, right? Here's the thing, right, about Trivium. And I'm just going to go back to their statements and their treatment of older drummers that they had. I remember when they talked about their founding drummer, Travis, when they kicked him out, because that was like a messy separation. I remember Matt Heafy going like, we did it due to a necessity to keep the band alive. Now, it seems like this whole necessity thingy, it just applies to the drummer for some reason. But ultimately, Trivium is just Matt Heafy, Corey Bailu, and Paul Gregoletto, the bassist. Like, that's the 3 of them, and everybody else is now just an employee. And it's not a good thing. You know, it's really not a good thing, because I don't know. I just feel like for you to be a band, for you to have somebody there with you for a long time, they have to have stake and equity in the band. They have to be a part of it. A muscle for hire, which seems to be the case, because Trivium is too big for them to not have a drummer. They'll always find somebody that wants to play with them. In fact, the next band that I want to talk to you guys about, there's just one founding member is left, but he'll always find a way to regroup, and I'll talk about that in a second. But Trivium is too big. They'll always find a drum player. But when it comes to the quality of their music, right, my question to you guys is, and you let me know your thoughts, will a muscle for hire employee, a session musician, do as good of a job as somebody who's part of the band in terms of their commitment and how much they put into it? I'm just asking, right? So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but I have a feeling that a muscle for hire will never be as good. Nevertheless, what Trivium did then, they borrowed the new drummer for Sepultura, because you guys remember Sepultura's drummer, like the last drummer, the one before, was snatched by Slipknot, right? So he went on to play for Slipknot, and then Grayson Nick Rotman, who was the new drummer for Sepultura, then was snatched by Trivium. And then, so it was hilarious. So apparently he's going to go back and play with Sepultura in their goodbye tour. And then apparently the plan is to stay with Trivium after. But it was insane. It was really interesting that the guy from Sepultura, this guy, was snatched. Like, Sepultura is now a breeding ground for drummers to be snatched by other bands. So yeah. And some images from their tours and all that jazz. Yeah, man, I just found it insane. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. The fact that you just change your drummers faster than your jiu-jitsu rash guard is not an ideal thing. What a freaking narcissist is Matt Heafy. Like, and I like it. I see a lot of him in me. I like him. Like, it takes, that's what it takes to lead, but my goodness, isn't that a crappy thing? To have to just change your band members that you live and breathe and, yeah. So anyways, so that was that. Now, you guys remember I said Trivium is a big enough band for them to always have a drummer. Like, they'll never go wrong. Like, someone will always try to, work with them. Like, they're not going to run out of people, right? On the same token, there's this band called As I Lay Dying, who regrouped for the third time. And I'm not sure if you guys know about these guys. So these guys are also a metal band from, like, they've been active on the scene for a long time. So the actual original band got disbanded because the singer, this guy, tried to put a hit on his wife to, unalive his wife. Tim Lemsis is the guy, right? The guy, and he blamed it on roids and drugs and whatever not. But yeah, so because of that, he went to jail, and the first band was just like disbanded. One or two founding members, I think the lead guitarist, stayed with him when he regrouped the band the second time. Shortly after that, they also disbanded because of some things that they called like unforgivable and unreconcilable. The guy went crazy. And now he formed his band for the third time. Again, titled As I Lay Dying. But he's the only member that is there. There's just a bunch of new people there. So Bill Hudson from North Tail came in. Don Vita from Jamie's Elsewhere. Chris Clancy from Mutiny Within. And then Tim Young again from Morbid Angel. So they're reunited. Like, if you're big enough and you can pay, nobody will care if you tried to kill your wife. Nobody will care that you'll try to kill your wife. The freaking guy literally put a hit out on his wife. These guys are still playing with him. Yeah, so like, what happened to the previous lineup? Announced their departure one by one. Because, simply put, recent actions have shown that As I Lay Dying no longer offers a healthy and a safe environment for anyone involved, creatively, personally, or professionally. That was the long-term founding lead guitarist, by the way, that stayed with him, even after he went to jail for trying to kill his wife. After witnessing some concerning patterns of behavior, I've realized that I can no longer, in good conscience, enable further actions that could negatively affect anyone working within the space. So he left. And everybody else, the other four or whatever, had the same issues. Right? And then these four geniuses decided that it's a good idea to form a band with a guy who tried to kill his wife, and then whatever else happened that got the second round of breakups. And they thought, you know what? Let's go play with him. Everyone knows As I Lay Dying, he's a famous vocalist. Let's go and play with him. That was their Can I ask you guys a question? So, if would you ever work with somebody who put a hit out on his own wife to kill her? Very simple. Imagine you got a guy, did that, went to jail, came back, and then he reformed his band for the second time. And then that band couldn't handle him. They sort of ran away. Would you work with that person? And then how would not only if you would work with that person or not, here's the next question. Would you want to be anywhere near that person? Is all I'm asking. It's just like, how? How is this happening? How is another band formed is what I'm wondering. Like, this is the thing with artist types, man. This is the thing, and I love guitar players. I love electric guitars. I live and breathe them. This is the thing with artsy types. Somehow, after a certain point, using your basic cognitive reasoning functioning goes out the window. Like, for some reason, with artsy types, I think part of it is because they're just like trained to pull their emotions out and be emotional and express that emotion through their instruments. I think part of it is that. So you train yourself years on end to be that, and then no logical thinking. I don't know, maybe. How the hell would you work with this guy? Like, how is he even still forming bands right now? There was internet. See, if it was like 100 years ago, no internet, no telephone, no nothing. Everywhere was basically a village, right? So, 100, 200 years ago, if you went on to the next village 5 kilometers away, no one from the old village will ever see you again. Right? It'll be it. Like, you could do whatever heinous thing you did, and then get on a horse or a camel or a donkey or whatever, a mule. Get back on a mule. Goes to the next village 5 kilometers down. Takes you a month to get there. And no one will ever see you again in your old life. And you can start again. There is internet in this thing. We've got internet now. Surely you can do a basic Google. Like, surely, and you don't even need to Google. Like, these musicians, surely they knew what's going on with this guy. But even if they didn't know, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, you have no idea who Tim Lamsis is. You have no idea about the controversy surrounding As I Lay Dying and all the dark past of it, right? Can't you Google? Like, it's a basic thing. Everywhere you want to go, every company you want to go and work for, you want to do your resume, you want to do your CV, you want to do your cover letter, whatever, right? You do a basic Google on that company that you're applying for, so you know what they're about. Surely these guys knew, and they decided that, you know what, screw it, let's just do it. I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. So that was the As I Lay Dying bit, right? And then the next thing that happened that again blew my mind, it was crazy, was that My Dying Bride, if you guys know My Dying, I'm not sure who knows My Dying Bride, but My Dying Bride also then separated from their vocalist. So for those who don't know, My Dying Bride is a doom metal band. They've been active for 30 years now. And Aaron Stainthorpe, there we go, was the founding member, was their vocalist the whole time. This band, I think, changed more than 20 different members. But there was Aaron and there was the lead guitarist who were like they were consistently part of the band. Everyone else was changed like 5 times each, right? Every other position. But then they somehow kicked the main guy, the vocalist, the person that everybody knew the band with. They kicked him out, which was interesting. So English doom metal pioneers My Dying Bride have officially parted ways with vocalist Aaron Stainthorpe. The news comes less than a year after My Dying Bride recruited singer Mikko Kotamaki from Swallow the Sun to front the band for its live appearances in 2025. Earlier today, My Dying Bride released the following statement via social media. My Dying Bride have decided to part ways with vocalist Aaron. Please understand that this decision does not come lightly, hence our initial and painful silence while we gathered our thoughts and carefully considered our response to the disengaged, eerily abandoned state we suddenly found ourselves in. Our collective decision to move forward without him is not something we thought we would ever be forced to say, but to ensure a continued legacy for what we hold dear to our hearts, we simply have to move past this. Yeah. My dying bride are not on hiatus. We were never on hiatus. However, we do genuinely wish Aaron all the luck in the world in his new solo endeavors. So what happened was Andrew Cragen, there we go, that was the lead guitarist's name. They've been trying to reach out to the vocalist for over a year and a half, and the guy didn't even answer the texts and the calls of the guy he worked with for 30 years. So after a year and a half of them trying to reach out and never got a response from him, they basically moved on without him. Yeah. So that was like that was the whole situation. Yeah. As Aaron has, in truth, distanced himself from the band, we're only aware of his activities through social media and online interviews. Like, that's a painful thing as a band member. So yeah, they kicked him out, which was like, you know, also kind of a big news in the doom metal world for those of you who are doom metal fans, which I'm like, yeah, that was the lead guy. That was the guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that was like insane. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? YouTube, Twitch, how's everybody feeling? Why is everyone so quiet today? All righto, let us talk about the next item on the docket, shall we? Let's talk about the next item on the docket because, tell you guys what, PRS Guitars really decided that they want to finish the year with a bang. Like, let's just throw it out there. Let's just throw the punches. That's what they thought. I can tell you for a fact. Because we have now 4 new SE models out. 3 of them being upgrades for the 40th anniversary. The other one is the SE model for Chleo, which was Herman Lee's signature guitar. If you guys remember a few streams ago, I don't know how many streams ago it was, but in one of our older streams, we actually talked about the US-made Core limited edition model that they produced for Herman Lee, right? They now did the SE signature model for that. Now, the reason this was a little controversial and the guitar world really didn't react that well to it was because 2 things. Number 1, as I said it on that earlier stream, this is a specialty guitar. This is not a common folk, like everybody guitar. This is not like a crowd pleaser, right? Because you got certain guitars, like for example, Fender Strat, right? Everyone plays it, everyone likes it. If you build your guitar similar to a Fender Strat, it's a safe bet because it sits well within the average of what everybody likes. Like, sits right in the middle, right? This guitar is an outlier. It's not a guitar that, I'm sure PRS knows, it's not a guitar that they'll be able to sell hundreds and thousands of like what they did with Silver Sky, right? But interestingly enough, they produced this SE model. The thing that made it really controversial is that this SE model is now priced at $2,000 US. It is the most expensive SE guitar they've ever done. Now, to give you guys a point of context instead of the jump, the most expensive SE that they had a year ago was at $1,500. Signature Mark Holcomb's signature PRS SE 2 years ago was $999. Now we're sitting at a $2,000 price point for this particular SE guitar. And that was the thing that really kicked it, right? So now obviously there are some differences between this guitar and the US made guitar, of course. So some of the specs here are more affordable, But let's have a quick listen to let's watch the video, that the announcement video quickly, and then let's have a chat.
I remember when I was a kid, when I saw these incredible PRS guitars at the shop, and that was before the SE model existed. I was always thinking, man, this guitar is amazing, but I can never get one of these as a poor student. And when the SE model came about, I heard about the incredible quality of the instrument. And
can I stop it right there? The fact that he said affordable, as a student, I could never afford them. But then when the SE came around, I was able to afford them. That is, I'm sorry, I'm a fan of PRS guitar. Everybody that watches the stream knows that I'm a massive fan of PRS, and they're my top 3 favorite guitar brand. Everyone knows that. So this is my favorite brand. But what Herman just said is BS. Complete BS. I'm not sure if you guys have been students before or if you worked while you were in college, because I did. I had to do it. I had to work my butt off. I couldn't afford $200 to buy a guitar at that time. I'm being honest and sincere with you guys. I could not afford a $200 guitar during my studies, like, because I was working my butt off and I was studying and I have to pay for everything, right? You couldn't work 2 jobs, right? So the fact that now, now we have an SE model that a student can afford is complete BS. Unless students' parents are willing to, put $2,000 for that student. For somebody like me who left home at 17, I'm sorry, like, there was no mama and papa to buy something like that for me. So when he says, students can afford, like, whatever, it's complete BS. Hate him for saying that.
And now, to be able to build this Chleo model in the SE form has been a really incredible journey.
All right.
Chleo. Throughout the years, you have probably seen my collection of PRS guitars in the studio or on stage, and I've been playing them throughout the years, and I always loved what PRS come up with, from the sound, the feel, and of course the look of these guitars. My story with PRS guitars go way back. I met Paul in 2006.
All right, stop. Talk about the specs. I get it. You're excited. We know that. Where's the specs? There we go.
Body with a maple top with a flame maple veneer. The look of this guitar just is awesome.
It really is. The look of the guitar is insane, by the way. That veneer looks like real. And the stain job here is just perfect. They've done a fantastic job, by the way, with the veneer and the staining of it. It's just insane. No question about it. The guitar looks insane.
On this guitar is smoke black, and I love how they work together with the top, the bridge. It has a maple neck with an ebony fretboard. The neck shape of this guitar is the same as the core model.
That is true.
And I love
that is true. So the neck shape of the guitar is exactly the same as the core model. There are some minor differences in the neck body joint because the neck of this guitar is bolt-on. So the neck body joint in the SE model is bolt-on. In the core model is a set neck. So this one, the neck is screwed to the body. With the core model, the neck is glued to the body. So there's some minor differences in the feel when it comes to the higher frets, the neck hug, and the guitar heel. But other than that, everything else about the neck carve is exactly the same as the core, so that is true.
Build quality of this SE model, you can move your hand around and it just feels so smooth. It's just really nice to play in. We've got jumbo frets here. We've got side dots that light in the dark.
Could have just said lumen lay, but okay, who's counting?
And you can see this awesome Eclipse Dragon inlay. The inlay, of course, is the same as the core model.
That is true.
I think it just looked awesome, right?
It reminds me of Paul Allender's signature PRS. I think that was the first PRS that had anything other than, like, an animal other than the bird that PRS have, like, on their models. And Paul Allender, playing for Cradle of Filth at the time, he put bats in there. I think this is the third production model of PRS that they have an animal other than the bird. So
when it comes to double locking bridges, I have had a lot of experiences for the last 30 years of playing them. And on this guitar, we have the Floyd Rose 1000. And I can tell you that I have tested this bridge on a number of guitars throughout the years, and it's always been a great choice when it comes to stability on the guitar. So the body is very unique to a PRS guitar, but I can tell you that every carve and every contour was made for a reason, to make sure that you can play it easily and it's got a perfect balance when you hand.
Okay, this bit of the sales pitch, that every contour of the body was done for a reason, is actually the sales pitch for the core model. I'll show you guys the core model a little bit later. That was the one that has all the weird contours. This guitar doesn't have that many weird, crazy contours. So, just a quick heads up on that.
On your body. On this guitar, the neck joint is a bolt-on neck. You can see there's a real wide cut here, so you can access the frets, especially the higher frets. On the 24 frets, I have no problem bending, even with my ring finger. And like putting the guitar here, you can see my fingers can really reach beyond the 24 frets quite easily. You know, with a 20-inch radius on this guitar, it is designed for modern players. A flatter neck, it makes playing really effortless, no matter how difficult the techniques you're gonna throw.
We like flatter necks.
Picking, tapping, the fast runs, it really makes it super effortless. We have a 20-inch radius locking nut, just like the core model.
This is big, by the way.
And paired with this 20-inch radius Floyd Rose, you really have the perfect setup for all the modern techniques out there.
This is huge, by the way, guys. So let me explain why. Let me briefly explain why this is huge. So, a lot of times, and this is like a big-ish issue, not a big-ish issue. It's an issue in a lot of the guitars that have floating bridges, right? That their neck, their fretboard radius is different. So, and I have actually guitars that actually suffer from this condition, by the way. I'll give you guys an example. Floyd Rose US made standard. These ones come out with a 10-inch radius, and if you take the shim under it out, it becomes 12 inches in radius, right? So really round and then slightly less round. That's the standard factory model. Now the question is, because Floyd Rose, the originals, the US made originals, don't have, like, for example, a 14-inch or a 16-inch radiuses. So the question is, what will happen if you put a Floyd Rose original on a guitar that the fretboard radius, for example, is 16 inches? So you have a scenario now where the radius of your neck is like flatter, much more flatter, and the radius of your Floyd Rose bridge is, and obviously the nut later, is rounder. What would happen is that you'll get an abnormally high action in the middle strings, like string 3 and 4, the G and the D string, right? Because think of it like this. Imagine this is my fretboard, and this is my bridge radius, which determines the radius of the strings, right? So you got the fretboard, you got the strings. So this is the fretboard, and then this is the strings on top. Because the bridge is rounder, is more curved than my flatter fretboard. Does that make sense? So then the middle strings 3 and 4, go a little higher, and there's only so much you can reduce the action down, right? Because on Floyd Roses, you have 2 screws on either side. You can't individually change the height of the string. You have to change the height of the plate on the bridge side, on the bass side and the treble side. So you can change the action like this or bring it completely down, but you can't change individual string heights. So what will happen is that setup is going to be not the nicest of all setups, right? And so that's a big problem. The fact that they've got a matching Floyd Rose bridge in terms of its radius to the neck is awesome. This is really good, and he is right to say that it'll help you to have a really good setup. I love what they've done there. I actually love what they've done there.
The heart of this guitar, they are the Fishman Fluence signature guitar pickups that I designed with them, called the Omniforce pickups. With these pickups, it actually took 4 years to develop. I spent a lot of time in the studio doing A/B tests against my huge guitar collection, against some of the best guitars I have. So we really dialed in the exact sound we wanted.
This is the manufacturing plant in Indonesia, Surabaya, by the way.
And the great thing about it is not only do you get one of them, you get 3, because these are multi-voice pickups.
All right, let's talk about the specs in written, because this guy is just trying to sell the guitar too much right now. Okay, so this is what it comes down to. So the Floyd Rose 1000, not a fan of 1000, to be honest with you, not a fan of Floyd Rose 1000. But the fact that they matched it with the radius of the fretboard is insanity. I love that. I absolutely love that. PRS design tuners. These are the lightweight plastic tuners. It's becoming closer and closer to the core models. The reason the lightweight of it is important is not because that they're trying to cut on costs. So even the core ones have the lightweight plastic ones right now. The reason for that is not to dampen the resonance of the neck and the headstock, to take the brightness of the sound of your guitar away. That's the reason why. And obviously you have Fishman Fluence signature pickups for Herman Lee, right? Now, it's a maple top, flame maple veneer mahogany, so it's mahogany maple, pretty standard. Sculpted top carve. This is a new thing in a PRS SE. So a lot of, like most SEs are not, they don't have a carve. So they're very boxy in a lot of ways. 24 fret, 25 half-inch scale, maple neck, multiply neck construction. And you have the ebony fretboard, 20-inch fretboard radius, dragon's inlay, bolt-on neck. We talked about that. And so on and so forth. Right now, when it comes to the 3 pickups, they have different voicings. And this is where I think really Fishman Fluence wins. So you can push or pull your tone or your volume knob rather. And that'll basically changes the voicing of your pickups. And then you can use the pickup selector to sort of change the position. So it comes with 9 voicings in total, if I'm not mistaken. And it comes with 3 colors. You got the purple burst. You got the mantis burst. I absolutely don't like this color or its name. Or orchid dusk, which I adore. I really like this. And all of that basically made for the most expensive SE model in the PRS history for $2,000, which is really not an affordable price tag. Because SE was supposed to be affordable, this is not an affordable guitar whatsoever. Zuhair says, what did you say? Hey, how's it going, Sorenzo? Miss me? Have a good live. See you next time. Weird, Dorotio isn't yet here either. So strange. Take care. All right, buddy. Take care of yourself. Good to have you back. You came in quickly and then you left very quickly. I'll see you around. But yeah, like this is not a price. This is not like a price tag that is like affordable in any shape or form. So that's that. Now, there's a variety of reasons for that though. Like, to be honest with you guys, I don't like the price tag for this either. But I can understand some of the reasons why. Obviously, one of them being tariffs. So the tariffs between the United States and Indonesia was initially 8%, right? And then from 8%, they increased it to 20%. And I don't know it for a fact, but my guess is that PRS decided not to take it on the chin completely. So some of that is going to come down to the consumer, if not all of it. I don't think all of it would come in, but I think some of it would come in. I think that in part explains the higher price tag. And I told you guys, I made this video not long ago. Hold on. I made a video not long ago predicting that for the rest of the year, the price tag of the guitars are going to significantly go up. Check it out, please, because I give you guys reasons why. It's called, hold on. It's this. Your new guitar is about to cost way more. Here, I talk about the reasons why. But part of that is, I think, the tariffs for sure. So there's no questions about it that some of that is going to come down to the consumer. But then also, for example, you have Fishman Fluence. Oops, I thought I'm sharing my screen. My bad. But there are other reasons for the sort of a more expensive price tag. For example, you have 3 Fishman Fluence pickups that are active, and they come in different voicing, and they're like signature models. So that, I don't know, $300-400 for that Fishman Fluence set. I don't know. So that might have added some extra costs there. It has a carve. It's an SE model that has a body carve, so that sort of adds to the price tag of the electric guitar. But there's no question about it that this is an expensive SE. This is no longer in a sort of an affordable range at all. Like, this is like in the I don't know. This is like a professional guitar price tag. This is like a semi-pro professional guitar price tag to me. Now, the rule of thumb is that if you have, and this is something that I think Gibson and Fender have been doing for a very long time, when you have like a US made, your highest end model, the affordable model of that is usually like a quarter of that price, like 25%, 30%, 35%. It sort of ranges around that. So if I go and look at the PRS Chleo, the core model, come on, where's the core model? PRS Chleo core. Interesting. Hold on. PRS Chleo core price. Do we even have that? Okay, so the core model was $6,900 basically, right? So if I go and get a calculator, 6,900 divided by 4, 1,700. So around 30% maybe. So 2,000 divided by 6,900 times 100. 29%, almost 30%. Yeah. So it is pretty pricey. No questions about it. And so that was the reason why a lot of people because PRS already gets a lot of hate because it's the guitar for the lawyers and the surgeons and all that jazz. But you can see now that, all right, well, this is really expensive. I think the era of reasonable quality guitars that are going to be less than $1,000, especially signature stuff, I think that era is long gone now. Things have changed. Inflation, tariffs, all that jazz. And as we go, as I predicted in that video, and I predict here again, as we go all the way to February next year, like Jan and Feb, new releases are going to come out. People are going to prepare for NOM. Those price tags are going to be significantly higher, like considerable. Like you'll notice them noticeably higher than the price tag of the way we used to, see the price tag of things, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Would I buy this guitar? Absolutely not. I wouldn't even buy the core. For a variety of reasons. Number one, I hate middle pickups. Number two, this guitar is made for Herman Lee. I'm kidding. I actually, by the way, I really like the shape of the guitar body. Right? I actually really like the shape of this guitar body. I would buy it if, for example, we had a SE PRS, for example, or a core PRS with like proper metal guitar like pickups, like for example what Mark Holcomb has in Alpha Omega Seymour Duncans or Scarlet and Scourge, those two sets, for example. And it's like and I want a hardtail. I want a fixed bridge, not a floating bridge. Then I would be like, all right, I'll consider it. You know what I mean? Fun fact about the jack input, by the way. Let me show you guys an image of the jack input. Fun fact about it. This one. See that? See how there's no screws on these? Because usually like these inputs have screws on top, right? These are actually inserted from the back of the guitar. This is like a new design that the PRS engineers came up with. So they're actually like, this is the hole. And this is like the inner part of the guitar. It comes from the inner side and it gets locked out like that. That's why you don't see any screws in there, which is awesome. I love it. And the reason I love it is because, for example, aesthetically, this looks a lot better and neater and more modern. But also the screws over time get like, you know, oxidated. They get rusty. They don't look good. This is very sleek. I like it. Slick. So yeah, that's the reason why. Like that's like a nice innovation, by the way. Just to tell you guys the truth. There were a bunch of other PRS, like 3 other PRS SE models came out. For example, the Hollow Body 2 came out. So for these 3, I'm not sure. There we go. So the DGT Standard, the SE Hollow Bodies, and then the SECE Hardtail, Stoptail they call it, right? All of them are basically a new generation of the older SE models that they no longer exist in a way. So that was pretty interesting. So for example, for the SE DGT and the hollow bodies, you guys can see now the pickup ranks, for example, are a lot more similar to the S2 and the core models as opposed to the way the SEs used to be. The size of the hollow body is reduced a little bit, things of that nature. I'm not going to spend too much time on PRS today because we talked about the Chleo in detail. But PRS is killing it. And hence, by the way, all these new generation, new stuff, there's more releases apparently until the end of the year and in January. So there's more stuff that is going to come out. But that's the reason why you have this 15-20% sale on all the models that are currently recent that they will no longer be in a couple of months or so. But yeah, insanity. I'm just blown away by what they've done this year. They really produced a lot of new stuff this year, didn't they? They were very busy this year. And I remember like when I saw the Holcomb did the new core signature for Mark Holcomb, I'm like, oh wow, okay, didn't see that coming, you know. But yeah. Ah, Zuhair, you're back again. I thought you left, dude. You said, I don't like the guitar body shape even if it were an Ibanez. Too thin or curvy for me. Can't explain without showing you. Fair enough, dude. Gotta go get off again. See ya. See you later, dude. See you later. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting to talk about because, you know, PRS is killing it. By the way, did you guys see the Nuno Bettencourt thingy? I'm not talking about his guitar. We talked about his new guitar on the stream like to a great deal already. But he posted this poster on his Instagram channel for his guitar boot camp. He's doing guitar boot camps now. So not only he's starting his own brand of guitars, he's doing guitar boot camp, which tells me that this man is trying to really get into the business of guitar from being an artist. Like he's an artist and he's trying to make a transition into more businessy things. And he's doing boot camps right now. That was a very insane thing. So check this out. So he announced it. You can see it on his Instagram page, by the way. But he announced it, and then people like Steve Vai, Rick Beato, Matteo Sasato, what's that 15-year-old guy's name with dreads that plays blues? He's going to be there. But yeah, it was crazy. I was really surprised. So there were going to be some breakout workshops with Rick Beato, Eric Gales, Richie Kotzen, Matteo Sasada, and Taj Farrant. That was the guy I was talking to you guys about. They'll be organized by skill level to ensure all participants get the most out of their time with elite musicians. And there will be nightly concerts by the house band. Bettencourt has drafted in drummer Marco Miniman from the Aristocrats. If you guys don't know, he's an awesome drummer. I saw him live a few months ago with Guthrie Govitt. Keyboardist Derek Sherinian from Dream Theater, and Vincent Garcia on the bass for those performances. Yeah. So there's like a boot camp going on. This man in his 60s is kicking it, by the way. I think Nuno's 64 if I'm not mistaken. And he's killing it, man. His own brand of guitars. Live shows like in the last Aussie concert he was there, and now he's doing this, and I think he's touring now with Extreme if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he's been pretty active. I like it. Like, I hope that when I turn 65, I'm still that active. So yeah. Anyways, let us get to the last item on the docket, shall we? Let's talk about it, because I thought that was also a really, really interesting thing to talk about. Let me get it going. Hold on a segundo. Give me a second. All right. Technical difficulty. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so check this out. Epiphone launches a new Joe Bonamassa. I call him Joe Bossa Nova. Joe Bonamassa 59 Les Paul Custom. It's an Epiphone, obviously. So they released this attainable version of Bonamassa's pristine and rare vintage 59 Black Beauty Les Paul, bringing this remarkable instrument offering vintage tone, elegant craftsmanship, and so on. This is now a limited edition model, which is available through authorized dealers, yada yada. And if you guys don't know Bonamassa, he's obviously a great guitar player, very great blues player, especially. And he is an avid collector of Gibson Les Pauls. He's actually a collectioner. So he has a ginormous collection of vintage Les Pauls. And this is the guitar. It goes for $1,000. It's a limited edition. And this is how it looks like. So it comes with a Bigsby. Mahogany body. Mahogany neck with the 1959 rounded medium C. 22 medium jumbo frets. Gold hardware. Grover tuners. Bigsby vibrato tailpiece. Pro Bucker custom pickups. CTS pots. Hard shell case, Nerd Veil graphics. That's the general specs of it, and it does not come with a case, if I'm not mistaken. Or it does, actually. No, your instrument ships with a factory supplied hard or soft shell case. Well, that doesn't tell you much, does it? It doesn't tell you whether it's hard or soft shell. It comes with a case. I don't think it's a hard case. It is. Look. Well, why don't you guys properly say it? Again, this is another example where Gibson just doesn't know how to set up a proper website. We talked about it when we talked about Serge Tankian's signature guitar. Like, basic details, man. Put it there. You just say it comes with a hard case. Ay. There we go. aged yellow 7-ply top, 5-ply back, and headstock for the binding. Gloss finish. I don't know why he does gloss at the top, man. I get it. It's supposed to be old school. I just never understood gloss at the back of your neck, like on the neck, on the body, just makes it sticky. I never understood. Like, I get it that it looks good, but it's just a sticky guitar. Unless you're wearing like long sleeves or something. But if you're wearing short sleeves, your skin is going to get stuck onto the surface. Yeah. 24.75 inch scale length. Not a surprise for a traditional Les Paul. So that's not a surprise at all. I'm wondering what the fretboard radius is. I don't think they provided it here. See that? Doesn't say anything. What is the radius of your... Oh, there we go. 12 inches. No, it does say it. Okay, more flatter than I thought. I thought it would be around 10. 9.5, 10. Interesting. So yeah, this is sort of like the new model that came out, and I thought it would be interesting to talk because Bonamassa is like for Gibson lovers and blues lovers. Bonamassa is a huge name. So let's check this out. Let me stop the music. Hold on. Let's check out this thing together. Not a bad tone.
Hi, it's Joe Bonamassa.
Hi,
this
Joe.
This is the 2025 Joe Bonamassa Epiphone 2 pickup Les Paul Custom. In 1959, they only made a handful of 2 pickup Les Paul Customs. There's maybe 20 or less in existence. Mine happens to be a 5-speed transmission, which is this Bigsby, and I've seen others in stop tail, and they're extremely rare. My particular guitar came from a little old lady in Pennsylvania. The family didn't know the difference. They just thought they had a Les Paul Custom, you know? And it was then indicated to her that it was a special, rare variant of the Black Beauty.
Well, I'm glad that it was indicated to that poor old woman and you just didn't pay $2,000 for that piece, you know what I mean? Because it happens a lot. People check out the, like, you know, take things out from, like, their old husband's or old grandfather's garage. And they don't know the worth of that, and they take it to a store, and that store is not being honest with them about the value of that, and they just buy it for like $300 and sell it for $10,000. Like, it has happened. So I'm glad that that poor woman was educated and not screwed over, hopefully.
A couple of quirks about the original guitar that we recreated here with Epiphone. The Grover Imperials came stock with my guitar, so they come stock with yours as well, so it gives it a fancier look. Pro buckers for pickups that sound great. And you know, one of the things why I love doing the Epiphones year after year is we recreate valuable vintage guitars at a price point that everybody can afford.
I love that.
You know,
I absolutely love that, by the way. It's not only it's a great business model, you know, it's a great business model because the price tag of your more affordable model is always going to be dependent on the most expensive stuff. And if the most expensive stuff, like 50s Les Pauls, right, go higher in price, then you can obviously lift the price tag of the more affordable versions of those. So if you can come up with new ones like this, like what they've done here, it can be profitable. So it's a good business move. But the fact that somebody like Bonamassa, who loves vintage instruments, unlike me, right? Because I'm not a fan of vintage stuff. But Bonamassa loves the vintage stuff. So for somebody like him that believes in it and then brings it in a way back to life for the mass populace, it must be very satisfying for him. So I'm really happy for him for that. I think that's a noble and a great thing to do for the guitar world. And Joe Bonamassa is doing it. Hats off to Mr. Bonamassa. Love him for it. Love him for it. He's great.
You know, your money and or trade some stuff in and get one of these and gig it, and you don't have to worry that you're going to be out tens of thousands of dollars. They're a really great working band tool. You don't have to modify them. A lot of people say, well, let me just put new electronics or pickups in it. They're fine right out of the box.
I agree.
The QC is really, really great.
I don't know about Gibson QC. I do not know about Gibson QC. Again, I love Joe Bonamassa. I don't know about Gibson QC. One thing I'll also add though, and it's not just for Epiphone, it's generally like PRS SE, Epiphone, any other like say Indonesian, Korean, Chinese guitar, maybe not so much yet, but like more affordable models that are not made in China. The thing is that the training of the staff, CMC machines, AI integrated CMC machines, technology has made it to a point that the guitars are awesome. Like you can get a PRS SE and just gig with it. I have this, I'll show you guys one thing. Check this out. So I have this PRS Mark Holcomb Signature SE, the one at the very left in that 3 rack, right? It's an SE model. It's a 7-string SE model. I can confidently gig with that guitar. And all of this is possible because of technology and training in Surabaya, Indonesia, and now the guitar building culture that is becoming more and more prevalent in that part of the country, in that part of the world, in Indonesia. That SE7 string, I'll take that SE7 string PRS over a lot of US made 7-string guitars made by factories that I don't want to name, but you know those. Just putting it out there. Right. I'll take that over some US made models. So, and again, this whole technology thingy and the training of those staff and the culture in Indonesia, man, Surabaya, Indonesia's kicking ass. Korea, that made it possible. So won't be surprised if this is a very kick-ass quality guitar. Again, don't like Gibson quality control, but can be a very, very high quality guitar. Just because it's Epiphone doesn't mean it's not.
Every single one of them, you know, you see one on the stand here, and there's a couple out of the shot. I mean, they all play and sound the same.
Yeah. Interesting guitar. Really, really interesting guitar. For those who actually like vintage guitars, I think you are in for a treat. And Joe Bonamassa knows his stuff. Like, Joe Bonamassa knows his... The thing that is so unique about him is that he's an avid collectioner of Gibsons, Les Pauls, and he knows them in and out, as well as anybody in a Gibson factory, for example. But also, he's a superb player, right? So he is in this unique position that he's extremely knowledgeable on either side of the aisle, the musician part and the building part and the details of it and the sound quality and all that jazz. So it's only wise for Gibson, honestly, to work with him on a guitar like that so that they can reproduce something like that. So if you are a fan of Gibson or Epiphone, if you're a fan of 60s, 50s, Les Pauls, you are certainly in for a treat. Gotta tell you. So anyways, I think that was all we wanted to cover today. I just wanted to tell you guys very, very exciting news. So if you're not aware, maybe you will. If you don't know, now you know. Check this out. So we have a free beginners electric guitar course, and it's getting loaded. We're adding all the new videos to it. It's going to go all the way to like 30 something videos, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys, I'm sure if you're like in a beginner intermediate level, you love those videos. It's complete videos, by the way. Like, so for example, if I go to like my videos here, this one goes for 21 minutes. This one's go for 5, the intro. Or maybe, yeah, it's pretty much the intro. Buy your first guitar, 18 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 21 minutes. These are like 20, 30-minute videos. The next one that we're going to upload is going to go all the way to 40 minutes. So these are not like half-assed videos. These are complete, full, free beginners courses, like videos in a course. So every bit of knowledge that anybody needs to become a solid intermediate player, even if you don't have a guitar, I'll teach you how to buy your first guitar, and then I'll teach you how to play the guitar well, for free, complete. So I was really excited about it. So 5 videos in, and the 6th one will come out today or tomorrow sometime. So I'm really excited about that. Check it out. Recommend it to your friends if your friends are interested in starting to play the guitar. Encourage them to see these videos. They're completely free. They're full lessons, and they all can be found on the playlist tab of this channel. So if you go to the playlist and then go to Free Beginners Guitar Course, all the videos are grouped and categorized there for you to see, right? And then if you are interested, you don't have to, but if you are interested in taking it up a notch and not only just get all the knowledge here for free, because all the knowledge is for free and not behind any paywall or anything. If you want more organized practice material and extra practice videos, so that's where we drill things and that's where you practice with me, right? So I sit down and do a full practice session for each of these lessons, plus like backing tracks with different speed, PDFs, music sheets, guitar profiles, and all that jazz. If you're interested, you can check out our school community. So we have a school community now where we put all of the stuff here in our beginners course. And so like each video that I post here comes with 1 or 2 extra videos for training and a whole bunch of other material there. So if you're interested, you can check it out. The link is going to be in the description there too. So I just wanted to tell you guys about it. I'm really excited to work on it. I think this will facilitate guitar education for a lot of people who wouldn't otherwise afford it because it's completely free. Like everything you need is there. It's far more than I had when I started learning. So I hope you guys are pleased with it. And with that said, boy, oh boy, I'm going to call it a day. I think we did great. We were on for about an hour, 40 minutes. We talked about a lot of technical stuff, and I was so happy to see you guys. So thanks so much for hanging out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And with that said, baby, remember, it is the weekend. You live only one life. Pick up that guitar. Play it, have fun with it. Remember that guitar was made to be fun. If you're not having fun with it, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. Love you guys. And I'll see you. Woo! Mwah! I'll see you in the next video. Guys, take care of yourself. Have a good night. I'll catch you later.